Exclusive video. The Akron man who's a suspect in the Craigslist murder showed up in court for the first time in a wheelchair. This is the first time we've seen Richard Beasley, and our cameras were the only ones in the courtroom. Good evening, I'm DANITA Harris.
And I'm Lee Jordan. Beasley remains a prime suspect in the murder case, but he is also facing drug and prostitution charges. Scott Newell is live from our Akron bureau with the story. And Scott, Richard Beasley seemed to be having some problems today in court.
Indeed, he did. This was the first court appearance for Beasley since the bodies of two men were found in Noble County, another body found in Akron, and of course another man was wounded and survived these attacks. Now, we should tell you that we were waiting to see what Beasley was going to do and what he was going to say, but it was how he entered the courtroom that was a bit of a surprise. Beasley was wheeled in a wheelchair to appear on drug trafficking charges in Summit County Common Pleas Court. He never looked up throughout the brief hearing, not even acknowledging what was happening around him. Beasley is accused of selling OxyContin to a detective. Police documents also show that he is facing prostitution charges, for which he is to be arraigned tomorrow. One complaint accuses him of encouraging a 17-year-old male to engage in sexual activity for hire. Prosecutor Jay Cole is looking at how to handle both cases.
I don't know what the evidence is, but I'd like to keep them together.
For now.
Today's hearing is a sideshow to the main event. Prostitution and drug charges keep Beasley behind bars while investigators try to tie him to the Craigslist murders. Court documents in Noble County say Beasley and 16-year-old Brogan Rafferty posted a phony Craigslist ad they used to lure men to a remote area. 3 men were killed, a 4th wounded.
He's not been presented any evidence, but he denies any involvement that's circulating in the media.
Beasley wrote a letter to Akron Beacon Journal reporter Phil Trexler, called a con man by a pastor Trexler had quoted. Beasley wrote, "To call me a con man when I sacrificed for others is wrong."
He wanted to set the record straight. He wanted people to know that he made a lot of sacrifices. He truly was a man of God, and that he sacrificed a lot of his own personal money and time in order to help people who were less fortunate than him.
But in this letter, there is no mention at all of the murders. And Beasley said absolutely nothing today. I tried to ask him some questions, absolutely no response. Lee?
So, Scott, what seemed to be the reason for Beasley being in a wheelchair today?
Well, I asked his lawyer that, and she said he didn't feel good, he was under a lot of stress, and deputies were concerned that he was going to collapse. So they felt the safest thing was to wheel him in and out in a wheelchair.
All right, Scott Newell in our Akron bureau. Thanks, Scott.